Federal agents arrested 12 MS-13 leaders across 4 cities this morning, 4.4 million seized.
4:38 a.m. Miami, Florida. The city is still. The water off Biscayne Bay barely moves. On the surface, a Tuesday. Just another night in the most surveilled corridor in South Florida. But behind the dark windows of a federal operations center 12 miles from downtown, 43 agents haven't slept in 31 hours. They've been watching, waiting, running signal intercepts, tracking wire transfers, cross-referencing identities against databases in 3 countries. And now, the window has opened. To the public, the strip mall on Northwest 7th Avenue was a tax preparation office, a hair salon, and a shuttered payday loan shop. 3 forgettable storefronts in a neighborhood no one looked at twice. But what federal investigators had quietly documented over 18 months wasn't a strip mall at all. It was a command post. And what they were about to find inside, no one on the task force was fully prepared for. Wait, because before we get to what was inside that building, you need to understand why it almost didn't happen, and why at one critical moment the entire operation nearly collapsed from inside. The rain started around 4:15. Not hard, just enough to blur the streetlights and muffle boots on pavement. 12 vehicles, unmarked, held position on 3 separate blocks. No lights, no radio chatter. The signal would come through earpieces only. At 4:41 a.m., the breach order came. The front door of Suite C, the old payday loan office, took less than 4 seconds. Flash, stack, clear. Agents moved through the front room fast. 2 desks, a dead computer monitor, an empty filing cabinet. Standard camouflage. Any inspector walking through would have seen a business barely running. That was the point. The second room was different. A heavy door, steel-reinforced, padlocked from inside, sat behind a shelving unit stacked with blank printer paper. One agent noticed the floor in front of it. The linoleum was worn in a semicircular arc. The door opened frequently. Very frequently. They breached it in 11 seconds. The room beyond was approximately 20 feet by 18. No windows. Climate-controlled. And it was not empty. 3 military-grade duffel bags stacked against the far wall. A folding table with 2 prepaid laptops still running. And beneath the table, wedged between a power strip and a fire extinguisher that had never been used, a black steel lockbox, roughly the size of a carry-on suitcase. One agent photographed everything before anyone touched a single item. Another called it in. Room be secured. Significant materials. Request evidence team now. What was inside that lockbox wasn't supposed to exist on American soil. Music, forensic clinical, ticking undercurrent. The lockbox contained 4 distinct layers, cataloged by evidence technicians over the following 90 minutes. Item 1. $2.3 million in bundled U.S. currency. Non-sequential. Vacuum-sealed in plastic wrap, each bundle separated by rubber bands and a handwritten code, not names, not places. Just numbers. 6 digits each. Item 2. 3 prepaid SIM cards taped to the inside lid, each registered to a fictitious identity with a Texas address. Item 3. A laminated card with 11 routing numbers, international wire transfer codes running through accounts in Guatemala, El Salvador, and a registered shell company in Panama. Item 4, and this is where the pattern clicked, a folded paper, handwritten with 47 entries. Not a ledger in the traditional sense. No dollar amounts. No dates. Just initials, neighborhood names, and what appear to be percentage splits. 47 entries. Item 47, a set of GPS coordinates. Printed, not handwritten. As if someone had been careful with that one specifically. Agents cross-referenced those coordinates before dawn. They pointed to a storage facility in Hialeah, registered to a cleaning company that, according to Florida corporate records, had been dissolved 14 months earlier. But the key card for that facility? Still active. And that was only the first layer. While Suite C was being processed, the rest of the operation was already in motion across 4 cities. 441, Hialeah, Florida. A warehouse registered as a produce distributor. Agents executing a simultaneous warrant found 42 phones in a locked storage room, all wiped but still warm. Forensic recovery teams began work immediately. Alongside them, 3 handguns, a ledger in Spanish, and $680,000 in cash concealed inside sealed commercial vegetable crates. 455 Doral, Florida. A residential address. 2 individuals taken into custody without incident. Inside the garage, a secondary laptop encrypted, offshore account documentation for accounts in the Cayman Islands, and a hand-drawn network map, circles, arrows, initials, linking what appeared to be 8 separate cliques across 3 states. 512 Orlando, Florida. A motel room registered under a name that didn't exist. Door open. Bed made. The room had been vacated recently. A single-burner phone sat on the bathroom counter. Missed calls 11, all from the same number. That number traced back to a Miami area code that had been active for exactly 9 days. 529 Atlanta, Georgia. An apartment in a complex that, on paper, had a property management company as the registered tenant. Agents found 2 individuals, $312,000 in cash split between 2 backpacks and a kitchen cabinet, and in the bathroom, taped behind the toilet tank lid, a small waterproof pouch containing folded wire transfer receipts. 17 of them, over the previous 60 days. Location 5, a Coral Gables address flagged in the original warrant packet, empty, completely cleared, not ransacked, cleaned, organized emptiness, as if someone had simply packed and left. But the wireless router in the corner was still on, still blinking, and its access logs, when pulled, showed the last connection had occurred 47 minutes before the first breach. 47 minutes. Someone had been watching. One agent stood in the center of that empty Coral Gables apartment and didn't move for almost a minute. He was looking at the router, and then, slowly, at the smoke detector on the ceiling. He didn't say anything. He pointed. To understand what was found across those 5 locations, you have to understand how MS-13's financial infrastructure actually operates. Because this wasn't a gang hiding money under mattresses. This was something considerably more sophisticated. Federal prosecutors and analysts who have worked MS-13 cases for years describe what they call the pipeline, an internal financial circulation system that moves criminal proceeds through legitimate-seeming businesses, converts them into wire transfers, and routes the clean funds back to leadership, most of whom have never set foot in the United States. The system works in 3 stages. First, collection. Street-level cliques in Miami, in Long Island, in Las Vegas generate revenue through drug distribution, extortion of local businesses, and human smuggling fees. That money is physically moved up the chain, handed off in person, never deposited directly. Second, conversion. Front businesses, cleaning companies, produce distributors, tax preparation offices receive the cash as supposed revenue. Invoices are fabricated. Payroll is inflated. The money enters the formal economy looking like income. Third, transfer. The clean funds move via international wire to accounts in Central America and the Caribbean, where they fund MS-13's leadership structure, what federal indictments have called the Ranfla Nacional, from a distance, insulating the top of the pyramid from any single arrest in the United States. A veteran organized crime analyst once described it this way: this isn't a gang using a city. This is a system that bought one. The 47 entries in that handwritten document from Suite C, each one corresponded to a percentage, a cut, a clique's share of the rotation. The money moved in circles. No clear origin, no clear destination, just rotation, constant, invisible, and almost impossible to interrupt without watching the full cycle complete. Almost. Imagine for a moment that you're an accountant, not connected to any of this. You work at a mid-sized bank, and one Tuesday morning you flag a suspicious transaction, $2 million moving through a cleaning company account in 3 installments over 72 hours. You file a report. Standard procedure. 3 days later, your car is parked outside your office. You come out at 6 p.m. The tires are fine. The windows are intact. But there's a single yellow post-it note on the driver's side door. No words, just a phone number. And a date, tomorrow's date. You never file another report. At 6:14 a.m., as evidence teams were still processing Suite C, something went wrong. The operation's digital surveillance component, a secure server cluster monitoring all active intercepts, went dark. Not a power failure, not a glitch. The system logged a remote access event at 6:12 a.m., 2 minutes before the shutdown. Someone had logged in using valid credentials, and then systematically disabled the monitoring feeds from inside the building. For 11 minutes, the task force was operating blind. No intercepts, no real-time tracking on the 2 individuals who had not yet been located from the original warrant list. You're in the operations center. The screens go black. 40 people in the room. Nobody speaks. Then, backup protocols. Analog intercepts on secondary channels. A field unit that had been positioned since 3 a.m. on a hunch about a secondary vehicle picked up a signal. A prepaid phone, still active, moving south on the Florida Turnpike at highway speed. The vehicle was interdicted at 6:31 a.m. near Homestead. 2 individuals. And in the trunk, a third duffel bag, $1.1 million in cash, and a second set of GPS coordinates. Different from the first. These pointed to a location in Broward County. The breach of the operations center's credentials was traced the following week. The credentials belonged to a contract IT technician who had been on board to the task force 14 months earlier. Background check, clean. References verified. But a secondary audit revealed a connection. A brother-in-law, living in Houston with documented ties to an MS-13 clique in Nevada. 14 months. He had been inside for 14 months. By 9 a.m. on the morning of the operation, 12 individuals were in federal custody across Miami-Dade, Broward, Orange, and Fulton counties. Charges included racketeering conspiracy, money laundering, obstruction, and, for 3 defendants, terrorism-related charges under the designation of MS-13 as a foreign terrorist organization, formally enacted on February 20, 2025. Total seized currency across all locations, $4.4 million. Digital evidence, 42 phones, 3 laptops, 2 encrypted drives, and 17 handwritten documents cataloged for forensic analysis. The following morning, the Department of Justice issued a press release. Clean language. Measured. It described the operation as a significant disruption to MS-13's financial infrastructure in South Florida. It named the agencies involved. It noted that prosecutions would proceed in the Southern District of Florida. But what the press release didn't mention, what one federal official described only as a detail still under active investigation, was that the 47 entries in that handwritten document didn't correspond to 47 cliques. They corresponded to 47 transactions. Already completed. Already moved. 47 transfers, totaling an estimated $18 million that had passed through the pipeline in the 90 days before the operation. $4.4 million was recovered. 12 were arrested. But one name from the internal network map, the one at the top of the diagram, circled twice in red ink, was never matched to any individual in custody. No fingerprints. No identity. Just 2 initials and a city. Not Miami. Not Atlanta. Not Orlando. A city no Warren had touched. Here is what the evidence from operations like this one forces us to confront. Modern criminal power does not look like the crime it funds. It looks like a business license. A wire transfer. A property management company, a background check that comes back clean. The safest place for organized criminal networks in the 21st century is legitimacy. The appearance of it, the infrastructure of it, the paperwork of it. Not shadows, not back alleys, spreadsheets, registered agents, accountants who know when to stop asking questions. The men and women who worked this operation for 18 months did, so knowing that every arrest is one node in a network that will reroute around it. Every seized dollar is a fraction of what moved before anyone was watching. Every press release describes a battle, not a war. And somewhere tonight, in a city whose name was on that diagram, a router is blinking. An account is active, and the rotation continues. That's why stories like this one exist. Not to sensationalize, to illuminate. If this shook you, hit like so more people see it. Comment expose if you believe these stories must be told. Share it with someone who still believes corruption always looks like chaos, because the evidence says otherwise.